Perfect. All right, so if you do have props that you've gathered, just move them off to the side and go ahead and lay down. Extend your legs and your arms. Make sure that you have enough space forward and back. As you lay down on your spine, just take a moment to adjust your hands and feet. Stretch your fingers to the top corners of your mat and your toes to the bottom corners. And so before we completely settle in, just relax your whole body and make sure that your lower back doesn't feel tense. So it might require lifting it up and smoothing out your lower spine, shimmying your tailbone away from you. And allow your toes to splay open and wide. Relax the backs of your hands against your mat or the ground. And then with just a slight amount of pressure, press the back of your head against your mat. If it's helpful, you can just start to rock your head from side to side, massaging the back of your head, just to settle in. And then come to stillness here in a supine star shape of the body. And even though our arms are extended and elevated, I'd like you to soften the tops of your shoulders away from your earlobes so that the arms are extended but soft. And start to notice the points of contact of your body with the ground. And you can start at the base of your head and then travel down your spine to the back of your heart, hips, glutes, and then down your legs all the way to your ankles. And take a few moments and relax your whole body. And breathe here. And no need to take any deliberate, deeper breaths here, but notice that because your arms are elevated, your rib cage flared open towards the ceiling. You might notice your rib cage flaring open on the inhale, and just allow it to open. In the exhale, the breath cascades down. The back of your head, heart, and hips come closer to the earth. We'll be here for just a few moments on our backs in a supine star shape. Keep your eyes soft or closed. Okay, so I'd like you to keep your body exactly as it is in this shape. You can blink open your eyes or just keep a soft gaze. No Bugs Bunny eyes here. We're going to do a few pulsations, just starting to create a little bit of length, a little space in the body. On your next inhale, start to stretch from your finger and toenails. Allow your upper and mid spine to lift, rib cage to flare open. So tense your whole body. And then as you exhale, just relax and settle back down onto your mat. So do this a couple of times. Inhale, stretch and lengthen. And then exhale, release, and relax. And do one more like that. Inhale. And then exhale, soften. Great. From here, Start to bend your knees and plant the soles of your feet against your mat. Wave your arms by your sides. Just start to walk your heels in, feet about hips width distance apart, and notice that with your knees bent, you can essentially anchor your low spine down. Use the strength of your low belly to draw your thighs up, shins parallel to the earth, and your feet flexed for a supine tabletop shape of the body. And so it's hard to assess here, but I want you to try to make your shins parallel to the ground. Place your hands on the tops of your thighs and then press your palms into your thighs and your thighs into your palms. Knees about 90 degrees. Keep broadening through your collarbones and soften the tops of your shoulders down against your mat. Just start to tense slightly your navel in towards your spine to create a little bit of heat in the core. This practice this morning is lower body focus, but also a little bit of the core strength. So we'll activate that. Take one more full round of breath here in a supine tabletop shape. So keep your knees exactly as they are. Extend your arms out to a T with the palms facing down. Make sure that you have enough space to your left and right. From here, again, draw your navel in towards your spine, zip up your pubic bone, and then just start to lower your knees about 2 to 3 inches to the left. Inhale, lift your knees back up towards center. And then exhale, knees 2 to 3 inches to the right. So keep going. And again, just enough to start to wake up our core, our obliques, but not enough that you feel like your knees have to go all the way down to touch the earth. So keep going, left to right. And go slow enough that there's no momentum involved. You're using your strength of your core to initiate this movement. So complete whatever cycle you're on, return onto your back, and press your heels up, extend your legs so that your ankles are above your hips. Okay. Point and flex your feet. So with your ankles above your hips, you're in this supine legs up the wall position. You can draw circles of your toes in space, releasing the fronts of the ankles and then switch. Great. Bend both of your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your hands around your shins. Okay, so from here, I'd like us to, we're gonna wake up the core a little bit more, and then we'll come into a supine twist to relax. Okay, so I'm gonna do this from the side view. I'm not sure which angle is the best. Interlace your fingers to the webbing and release your pointer finger. So essentially it's a steeple grip of the hands, and this is a pattern that we'll return to throughout class. Okay. Stay on your back and extend your arms up and overhead, the palms to touch, biceps framing your ears. Okay. And now your knees are in towards your chest, spine down. Separate your knees so that they're a little bit wider, but seal the inner edges of the big toe mounds together. Okay. From here, as you inhale, start to draw your hands forward till you touch or essentially point towards your big toe mounds. And then exhale, bring your arms back, biceps framing the ears. We've done this pattern before. Let's do this a couple of times. Inhale and exhale. Notice the compression of her hips. It takes a lot of strength just to keep the legs in this pattern. One more. Inhale, back of the head stays down. And then exhale. Release the clasp of your hands and hug your knees in towards your chest. Rock from side to side. Okay, and then slowly roll to one side and pause in a fetal position. Extend the bottom arm and let the side of your head just rest here. Hug your knees in. Great. Start to roll a little bit closer to the earth. Press your palms down and come back into actually, let's come into a seated position for the moment. We'll come into tabletop, just a moment. So let's start with this interlacing of the hands and then release the pointer finger. Sit up tall. Inhale, draw your arms up above the crown of your head. Maybe gaze up towards the base of your wrists. And as you exhale, start to point your fingers forward. And then like you were painting a line in front of you, draw your arms forward and down. Great. So that's first round, is just to establish the pattern of the arms. So now as you inhale, as you raise your arms up, pause here for a moment and sit up tall. And now as you exhale, notice that as your arms wave forward, that your shoulder blades start to widen away towards your side body, away from your spine. So focus on that now. Do this 2 more times on your own. Inhale, let your rib cage lift up away from your lungs, and then exhale, forward. One more, just warming up the shoulders. Great, release this mudra of the hands. Just give your wrists a shake. Plant your palms in front of your shins. Roll over your shins and come to a tabletop position, hands and knees. Okay, and so from here, tuck all 10 of your toes. Keep drawing your navel in towards your spine. So let's keep this core strength established in the body. Spread your fingers wide. And let's do a few rounds of this traditional cow-cat motion of the spine. Inhale, lift up by your sitting bones, soften your belly and pull your heart forward, gaze forward. And then exhale, hug your navel in towards your spine, round your spine and gaze behind you. So just do 3 more on your own. This cat-cow motion of the spine. And we will return to our backs in a little bit. Let's just start to warm up our whole body, especially the spine. On your next inhale, come into a neutral tabletop position. Keep your hands where they are and just start to hug your knees in towards one another. Walk them in so you're in a neutral tabletop, but a little bit more narrow. Left toes stay tucked, draw your navel in. And as you inhale, start to extend your right leg back behind you. And then now bend your knee so that your foot stamps the ceiling. Notice what just happened to your glutes. Your glutes are probably starting to fire. Press down into your palms and gaze forward towards the top edge of your mat. Inhale here. And as you exhale, start to bring your knee in, round your spine. See if you can bring your nose and your kneecap towards one another. They probably will not touch, and that's okay. Inhale, press your right foot directly up and gaze forward. And then exhale, curl in. Do this without force. One more. Inhale, keep pressing down into the base of your hands. That's where your stability comes from. Exhale, round in. This time as you inhale, now lengthen your spine, press your right heel back behind you, extend through the right leg, gaze forward. Exhale, lower your right toes down. Press into your palms, shift your weight back, peel your left knee up, and gaze behind you for this mountain climber shape. Gaze towards your right heel. Okay, so you're looking at your right foot, and I'd like you to, again, this is a micro movement. Just start to bend your right knee very slightly, and then press the right heel back, straighten the leg. You should feel this a little bit more all along your calf muscle, and do this a couple of times. It might be so subtle that someone might not even be able to tell that you're bending and straightening your leg. So just do this by feel. One more. Inhale here. And then exhale, slowly place your left knee down. So let's pulse like this. Inhale, lift your hips up, peel your left knee up, gaze behind you. And then exhale, lower. So a little bit more of a bigger movement. One more. Inhale. And exhale, lower. You tuck your knee underneath you. Return to that tabletop position. Actually, to give our wrists a little reprieve, bring your knees and toes together, seal the big toe mounds, and sit back onto your heels. Walk your hands up, and let's come into a toes pose. So spread your toes wide, including the pinky toe, as you sit back onto your heels and let your wrists relax, the palms face up, gaze forward. Let's just be here for a few rounds of breath. Breathe into the bottoms of your feet, unclench your jaw, relax the muscles of your face. Great. Walk your hands forward, untuck your toes, and really gently just tap the tops of your feet against your mat. No slamming of the feet down. Okay. Come back into that tabletop position with the toes tucked, knees and toes closer to one another. Extend your left leg back behind you. And now bend your knee so that your left foot is stamped against the ceiling. Notice what just happened to your rib cage and core. Navel draws in, press into your palms. Inhale here. And then exhale, bring your left knee in, round your spine till your nose and kneecap can almost touch. Inhale, press your left foot directly up, knee stays bent. And then exhale, draw it in, waking up through the glutes. One more, inhale. And exhale. Inhale now, extend through the left leg. Exhale, lower your left toes down. Press down into your palms, shift your weight back and peel your right knee up. And as you gaze behind you, look at your left heel. And do 3 of that micro pulsation, bending into the left knee slightly. And then exhale, straining through the leg, press the left heel down. 2 more like this, inhale. And exhale. And from this view, you can even tell I'm barely bending the knee and then straightening. Great. Lower the right knee down. And we'll now do that bigger movement. Inhale, press up through the hips, lift the right knee up. Exhale, lower down. 2 more like this. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And then exhale, lower down. Slide your knee underneath you and then untuck your toes, sit your hips back. Okay. Squish your glutes and heels towards one another. Make sure that you have that firm base. And then you can stretch your belly across the tops of your thighs as you walk your hands forward. And just soften into this child's pose here for about 3 rounds of breath. And then I'll cue you if you'd like to go a little bit further for the spine and the back of the heart. For now, just breathe. So you can stay here in a child's pose for another few rounds of breath. You're already here. I'm going to cue moving into rabbit. And I know some of us, rabbit is not our favorite shape. So again, just chill out if you like. But for rabbit, you'll stay in this child's pose shape of the legs. Take your hands and slide them underneath your shin bones. Okay, so they're essentially wedged underneath your shins. Make sure that your kneecaps can still touch the ground and your toes are untucked. Okay, now tuck your chin in towards your chest. And then now just start to horizontally shift your body forward. Keep tucking your chin in so that your spine rounds and roll your shoulders forward. Lengthen through the back of your heart. It's kind of an awkward shape. Breathe here, 1 more round of breath or stay in child's pose. Release your hands if you're in rabbit and gaze forward. Walk your hands forward towards the top of your mat. Shift forward and tuck your toes. Press up and back for downward facing dog. Okay. In downward facing dog, let's pedal our feet. Bend one knee and lower the opposite heel. And then switch. So it's this feeling where you're drawing one thigh in towards your belly. In a true pedaling of the feet motion. Breathe into the backs of your legs in downward facing dog, whether you're still or moving. So come into downward facing dog, gaze forward as you inhale, and then exhale, take a stroll to the top of your mat. Once you're at the top of your mat, bend your knees more than you think you need to, and just allow yourself to hang forward. You can clasp at opposite hand to elbow point if you'd like. Maybe rock from side to side. And then pause in a forward fold, release the clasp of your elbows, and then draw your navel in towards your spine, press into your feet, and then slowly take 2 to 3 rounds of breath to roll all the way up. Stacking your spine until your torso is vertical. Set your feet about hips width distance apart. Roll your shoulders up by your ears, and then down your back with the palms facing forward. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead, palms to touch. Then exhale, bend your knees slightly and then fold forward, hinging from your hips, gaze behind you. Inhale, halfway lift, slide your hands to your shins or thighs and gaze forward. And pause here. Tailbone draws back and the crown of your head forward, navel in. Great. Breathe into the backs of your legs. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, fold, plant your palms and step back to a downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, inhale, ripple forward to a plank position, top of a push-up. And then stay for the exhale. Heels draw back, crown of the head forward. Great. Inhale here. And then exhale, make your way onto your belly. Of course, you can always lower your knees or hug your elbows in and lower all the way down in one piece. Untuck your toes. And then from here, as opposed to lifting up, doing a back bend, start to slide your arms forward, palms to touch, and then rest here in a full body bow, a pranam. Let your forehead touch your mat and just relax. A full body stretch, almost like we were diving into a pool. Great. So we're going to do 2 more of that sun salutation, but we're going to do a few edits along the way. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders and tuck your toes. Press up through hands and knees or plank. Then exhale, downward facing dog. And you all practice with me pretty frequently, so you all know that you shouldn't guess where we're going. So just try to stay along with me. Bring your big toes to touch. Anchor your left heel down. Fan your right toes open, and then sweep your right leg up and overhead for a 3-legged dog. Gaze at your left toes and see if you can press your left heel a little bit closer to the earth as you raise your right leg up. And then breathe here. One more inhale. And then exhale, just set your right foot down next to your left. Big toes touch. This time, anchor your right heel. Fan your left toes open, and then sweep your left leg up and overhead. 3-legged dog on the left. Same thing, as you gaze at your right foot, right heel draws down, press into your hands and lift your left leg 1 more inch. Breathe into the back of your right leg. 1 more inhale. And as you exhale, just set your left foot down. Separate your feet about hips width distance and bend your knees. Now keep gazing at your toes and slide your hands back towards your feet, 1 handprint. So you're in a shorter downward facing dog. But then do that again. Slide your hands back towards your feet. Maybe your heels can now touch and keep going. So now you're at a forward fold if you keep walking the hands back towards the back of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Ground down into your feet. Sweep your arms up and overhead as you come to a standing position. And then exhale, fold forward. Gaze forward and plant your palms. And now you guessed it, start to slowly walk your hands forward towards the top edge of your mat for a plank position. Take your time, there's no rush. Establish a firm plank on your next inhale. And then exhale, lower onto your belly. Once your chest and belly touch the ground, untuck your toes. Slide your hands forward for a full body bow. Hands slide back under your chest and tuck your toes. Press into hands and knees or plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll do one more of that sun salutation sequence, a little bit faster, meaning we won't hold each shape as long. Big toes touch. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and overhead, three-legged dog. Stay for the exhale. One more inhale. And then exhale, lower your right foot down. So essentially a breath and a half count. Inhale, sweep your left leg up. Stay for the exhale. One more inhale. And exhale, lower your left foot down, feet hips width distance. Slowly walk your hands back towards your feet. Forward fold at the back of your mat, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Ground down into your feet. Sweep your arms up and overhead as you inhale. And then exhale, fold forward. Plant your palms last time. Slowly crawl forward to a plank position, top of a push-up. Stay for the inhale once you come into plank. Exhale, lower down. Untuck your toes. Slide your hands forward for a pranam. One full round of breath here. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders and tuck your toes. Press up through hands and knees or plank. And then exhale, downward facing dog. This time, as you inhale, gaze forward between your thumbs. And exhale now, just step forward towards the top edge of your mat. Stepping forward the traditional way. Okay. And so see if you can seal the big toe mounds together so you're in a little bit more of a narrow stance, and then start to bend your knees, sit your hips back, gaze forward. So you're in this position, draw your navel in. You're seeing a pattern here throughout class. Spread your sitting bones wide. Lift your fingertips and interlace your hands. Release the pointer fingers, coming into that steeple grip. Draw your hands in front of your heart as you gaze forward, chin level with the earth. Inhale, raise your arms up. Keep sitting here in this Utkatasana chair pose. But now as you exhale, press into your feet, straighten your legs, and then wave your arms in front of you. Draw that straight line in front of your face, chest and belly. Gather your arms in, inhale, sit back as you raise your arms up. And this is the pattern. Exhale, straighten, wave your arms in front of you. One more, inhale. And this time as you exhale, straighten your legs, but then just keep folding forward. Release the mudra of your hands. Frame your feet. From here, you're at the top of your mat. Step your left foot back behind you for a low lunge. Establish a firm base. So try not to be too spread out because we're about to come up into a crescent lunge. The most important thing is this left leg being straight and strong. So hook muscle to bone, okay? And that left leg is our anchor point for stability. Press into your feet, lift your fingertips up, and lift the crown of your head up. Come into a crescent lunge. So you're using the strength of your legs and hips. Come back into that steeple grip, hands in front of your heart. So it's the same pattern that we just did, but now our legs are in crescent lunge. Inhale, sink into this crescent lunge as you raise your arms up and gaze up slightly. And then exhale, press into your right foot, straighten the right leg and wave your arms in front of you. Let's do two more. The left leg stays straight the whole time. Just the right knee bends and straightens. Exhale. One more. Listen carefully as you inhale, pause here and gaze up. And then exhale, tip over to the right, maybe 1 inch. Enough so that you feel the side bend, this stretch along the left side body. But not enough that you feel like you're gonna fall over. Inhale, come back up. Release the clasp of your hands and wave your arms down. Frame your right foot and step forward. and shake out your legs. Great, simple sequence. Step the right foot back. Don't worry, we'll add on later. Not that any of you were that concerned. Right leg stays super straight and strong. Hug muscle to bone, okay? Now, press into your feet, lift the crown of your head, come up, navel draws in, torso vertical. Interlace your fingers, release the pointer. And then 3 rounds. Inhale, bend into your left knee, raise your arms up. Exhale, arms cascade forward as you straighten through the left leg. 2 more. Keep the breath expansive. Relax the muscles in your face. 1 more round. Okay, and this time as you inhale, raise your arms up. And exhale, just take a slight side bend to the left, maybe 1 inch, just enough that you feel this along the right side body. Legs are supporting you here. Inhale, come back up. Release the clasp of your hands as you wave your arms down. Frame your left foot and step forward. Shake out the legs. Okay, and so step your left foot back, come back into that crescent lunge, and then come up whenever you're ready. So the base of our movement is the same. Steeple grip of the hands, just 1 round. Inhale, raise your arms up. Then exhale, arms cascade forward. This time as you inhale, raise your arms up, pause, and then from here, come up a little bit and just lower your left heel down. Swivel the heel down, look at your right foot, and I'd like you to walk the right foot to the right slightly so you've got this wider base, and now notice that you're in a warrior 1 stance. Take your hands, release the clasp of your hands, and plant your hands on either side of your hip creases. You might want to shorten up the stance if you feel like you're super wide. From here, press into your right foot, straighten the right leg, and then exhale, rebend the right knee. Inhale, straighten, and then exhale, bend. We're going to keep it simple to start, and then we'll add on, don't worry. 1 more, inhale, and exhale. Okay, this time, stay in this warrior 1, shorten up your stance about 3 to 6 inches. It'll help. Inhale, press into your right foot, straighten the right leg. Listen carefully now, keep the right leg straight, and then exhale, start to wave your torso forward. Tailbone draws back, chin forward. So your torso is parallel to the ground. Listen carefully, inhale, come back up, rebend the right knee for this warrior 1. And then exhale, press into your right foot, wave your torso forward. So this is the pattern now. Inhale, bend the right knee, come back up into this warrior 1. And now as you exhale, as you come forward, pause, lower your hands to frame your right foot, fingertips on the earth, draw your right hip back, crown of the head forward, and then exhale, bend your elbows and hinge forward. All of a sudden we're in pyramid, but we just activated the back of the right leg. You're doing great. One more round of breath here in pyramid. Pick up the left heel, swivel it up, and then step forward and shake out your legs. I call that exercise, if you ever needed help locating your hamstring, there you go. Step your right foot back for a low lunge. We'll do that same sequence on the other side. Establish your firm base and then come up. Hands interlaced, point your finger up. 1 round, inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, wave your arms forward. Inhale, come back up, bend, gaze up towards the base of your wrists. And then exhale, swivel your right heel down this time. Left foot swivels to the left. Step your right foot forward slightly if you feel a little bit unstable. And then exhale, hands against your hips. Press into your left foot, straighten through the left leg. And then exhale, rebend the left knee. So a little pulsation. Waking up the left leg. One more, straighten, and then bend. Okay, so now pause here. Press into your left foot and straighten. And then wave your torso forward, tailbone back, crown of the head forward. Inhale, bend the left knee. Come back through a warrior one with the hands on the hips. And then exhale, straighten. And then hinge from the hips and fold. Only till the torso is parallel to the ground. One more. You might even feel this where the glutes meet the hamstrings. And then this time as you exhale, as you draw the tailbone back, hinging from the hips, pause. And then now lower your hands to frame your left foot. You can always heel toe your right foot in even more. Left hip draws back, gaze forward. Exhale, bend your elbows and hinge forward for pyramid. So I'm cueing this with the fingertips on the ground, but if you have access to props and you would feel more stable to have props under the hands to elevate the ground, of course you can use those. Don't force the left knee to be straight. Notice I even have a slight bend there. That's to avoid hyperextending, which my body has the tendency to do. Great. Swivel the right heel up and step forward. Shake out your legs. We have one more of that flow. We're going to shorten up some things and add on. Step your left foot back behind you for a low lunge. And you guessed it, come up. One round. This base sequence that we've been doing all class. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, straighten through the right leg. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, swivel the left heel down. Walk the right foot wide. Maybe step the left foot in. Hands along your hip creases. Press into your right foot. Hinge from your hips. Then exhale, release your hands down, immediately coming into a pyramid shape of the body. So don't fold forward just yet. I'll do this from a diagonal. And so from here, tailbone back, crown of the head forward. Feel like you are pulling your chin forward. Left fingertips stay down. Take your right hand like a crab claw around your right hip. Keep pulling the hip back. And now rotate from your rib cage to the right. And you'll notice that swiveling action as much as you can, the right hip draws back so the rib cage and the torso can face the right. And let's keep our hand along our hip crease or outer glutes for this morning. Breathe into the outside of your right leg. One more round of breath. Lower your right hand down. Okay, so now from here, you're in this pyramid shape. Turn your toes to face the side of your mat. So walk your hands. Now you're in a wide-legged forward fold. Okay, a little bit shorter perhaps. Inhale, tailbone back, crown of the head forward. And then exhale, fold forward in a prasarita. Walk the hands in line with your feet, bending the elbows and gazing behind you. One more slow round of breath. Walk your hands forward. So we're gonna just simply repeat that sequence on the left by walking your hands back towards your left foot, okay? So walk your hands back towards your left foot. Swivel both of your feet to face away from me. That's okay. This sequence you all know. Wiggle your right toes back so you can come into a sturdy, low lunge position, gaze forward. Press into your feet and come up. So your left leg is in front. Hands interlace in front of your heart. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, straighten through the left leg as you wave your arms forward and down. Inhale, come back into a high crescent lunge shape. And then exhale, swivel your right heel down. Scoot it forward if you need to, and then left foot comes to the left slightly. Hands along your hip creases. Straighten your left leg. Tailbone moves back. Wave your torso forward. Release the clasp of your hands in a pyramid shape. Okay. So now from here, right fingertips stay down. Left hand like a crab claw around your left hip. Push your tailbone back, your butt back, left hip back, and then rotate your torso to the left. In this revolved pyramid shape, you should feel this all along the outside of your left leg in your IT band. And breathe here. One more full round of breath. Release your left hand, walk your hands to the side of your mat space. Okay, so let's do this. In a Prasarita shape, a wide-legged fold, walk your hands forward to the top edge of your mat, spread your fingers wide, and now with your arms extended, press your butt back, spread your sitting bones wide. Inhale slowly like a horizontal shift, shift forward until your shoulders are over your wrists, and exhale, push your butt back, almost like you were coming into a downward facing dog. And do that a couple of times, breathing in through your sitting bones and glutes. Okay. And so now from here, you're in a wide-legged forward fold. Walk your hands towards your right foot. Swivel your feet so you can come into a low lunge on the right. Step your right foot back to meet your left for a plank position, top of a push-up. And then exhale, just lower onto your belly. Untuck your toes. Slide your hands forward. Relax here in a full body bow, this pranam. You're doing great. The rest of the class is slow and steady. And slowly look forward. Slide your arms back so that your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Extend your forearms, spread your fingers wide. Forearms make the number 11. Tuck your chin in towards your chest and lift your belly up. And then now press into your thighs. Pubic bone draws down, and now pull your heart forward, just so that you establish a little bit more of this stretching feeling along your belly and sphinx. Chin level with the earth. Breathe into your lower back. Okay, so now look at your wrist creases. Okay. Your right hand is gonna swivel towards your left wrist crease, okay, at a diagonal. So right hand, left wrist crease, okay? A little bit more support. Left heel draws in, so the opposite heel will draw in. Press into your right hand and swivel your left arm so that you can reach for the outside of your left foot. Okay. So now see if you can really press down and lift up so you're not collapsing here. And you've got a couple of options in this quad stretch. One is just staying like this, reaching for the outside of the foot. Another is swiveling the hand so that the fingertips point towards your ankles and you can press your palm down into the top of your foot. Notice I can roll my left shoulder back. Another option is keep going, keep swiveling the hand. So now the fingertips and toes are pointing in the same direction. You've got a little bit more leverage to press the toes down and maybe gaze behind you. Whatever you're doing, don't do it with too much force. Don't feel like you're really straining here. The goal is to stretch the quad. The shoulder is just extra. Release your left foot without flinging it and move to the other side. So come back into that sphinx shape with your forearms extended. And now from here, swivel your left hand to your right wrist crease, the inner wrist crease. Right heel draws in, bending the knee, and then move to the other side. They make your decision. It doesn't have to be exactly what you just did. Okay? The bodies are not symmetrical. For me, for whatever reason, my right shoulder is a lot more tense. And so swiveling the fingers just doesn't feel as good this morning. And slowly release that foot without flinging it. Okay. And so you're going to make your way onto your back. You can just flip over like a pancake. You don't have to necessarily adjust your whole stance. Just make your way onto your back. Okay. And so when I say that the whole rest of class is relaxed, I kind of lied because there's one more core activation, but you've got options. Okay. And so just rest here in a constructive rest with your feet wide and your knees together for a moment while I give you your options. So when we were on our backs at the beginning of class, I had you come into like a supine child's pose shape with the big toes touching and the knees wide. Hands interlaced with the pointer finger release, that steeple grip. So you can do that exact same thing in a moment when I cue you to move by just pressing the back of your head down and waving the arms forward towards the base of your toes and then coming back down. Essentially a little bit of compression for the hip creases. That's option one. Actually, option one is staying in a constructive rest, let's be honest. Option two is doing what we did earlier. Option three is as you lift your arms, you can lift the back of your head, start to gaze towards your toes, bring your knees together, and then push your toes forward like this. This little pattern. It's almost like we're dancing on our backs. Okay, so make your decision. A little bit of coordination involved if you're lifting up. Don't worry if it's not exactly as I'm doing. Just keep drawing your navel in towards your spine. So do 3 rounds, make your decision. Just make sure that if you're lifting up and your toes are pushing away from you, knees are together. No holding your breath. And just relax here. Release the clasp of your hands and set your feet down. Okay, now we can really relax. Walk your heels in towards one another. Cross your right leg over your left like you were sitting in a chair. Use the strength of your low belly to draw your thighs in towards you. Swivel your heels wide. See if you can clasp the front of your shins or ankles. Like this, like a whale's tail shape. Press your spine and the back of your head down. Hug your inner thighs and knees towards one another. Breathe into the outsides of your hips, glutes. I love these exercises to relax, especially if we've done a lot of outer hip and leg work, like we've been doing all class. Okay, so from here, release your shins or ankles. You're gonna draw your right knee in as you extend your left leg out. Right knee hugs in, left leg extends, and you can set your left heel down. And compress through the right hip. Keep drawing the right knee in towards your outer chest and armpit. And then now cross your right knee over towards the left for a supine twist. Right knee to the left. And you can cactus the right arm, roll the shoulder back, and gaze up or towards the right. Twist from your low belly and the space underneath your rib cage, around your waist. Keep breathing here, keep twisting your spine. Imagine you're wringing it out like a tea towel. You can make your way onto your back once again. Bend your knees and set your feet down. And so with your feet together, cross your left leg over your right. And draw your thighs in, coming to a whale's tail on the left. Swivel your heels wide and clasp your shins or ankles. Inner thighs and knees hug towards one another. And press your spine down, especially your lower back. Imagine you're pulling your tailbone away from you. So from here, release your shins or ankles. Left knee draws in, extend the right leg. And then hug your left knee in and to the left slightly towards your armpit. And then cross your left knee over to the right, supine twist. Maybe cactus your left arm and gaze up or to the left. Breathe here. And take your time, roll onto your back. Step your feet in. Adjust your hips. And then draw both of your thighs in towards you. Wrap your arms around your shins. Stay here or reach for the outsides of your feet for happy baby. Flex your feet. Pull your toes towards you. Release the outsides of your feet and draw your thighs in. And we're going to close with, it's going to appear like core work, but it's truly more like a sacrum stabilizer. Okay. Start to press your feet directly up. Return to a legs up the wall position. Seal the big toe mounds together and flex your feet. Extend your arms by your sides with the palms down. I'm going to very, very slowly, no momentum involved, start to press your right heel towards the earth until your heel can hover, and then draw your right leg back up to meet your left. And then left leg slowly lowers, and then lift it back up. Big toes touching, slowly lower both heels down halfway. Point your toes, bend your knees, scoop the belly and press your feet directly up. So you're going to do that one more time on your own. Right leg lowers and then lift. Left leg lowers. Try to relax your body. Notice what's happening to your sacrum. But this time, can you just lower both heels all the way down until your heels touch the earth? Let your legs open. Splay your toes open and wide, and your palms can relax open towards the ceiling. For our final resting shape of Shavasana. And relax your whole body here. Soften the muscles in your face, especially your jaw. Relax your shoulders, broaden through your collarbones. Notice the points of contact of your body with the ground. And allow those points to sink down. Allow your body to rest, and I'll call you back momentarily. So you can keep your body relaxed and your eyes closed. And as you deepen your breath, waking up your body, slowly start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch your arms up and overhead. Gather your knees in towards your chest and roll to one side. And just pause here in a fetal position. Press your palms into the earth and come up to sitting. And swivel your hands on top of your heart. And as we bow our head towards our heart, we honor one another. And when you're ready, lift your gaze.